our great president, Sleepy Joe Biden, went to Maui.
He did?
He did.
But he was on vacation.
But he broke his vacation, to be a spiritual, good-hearted leader, and he went to Maui to be with those people in a time of need.
Guy's like super dad. That's how I look at him.
Let's take a look. This is a video like a day before he was coming to the Ukraine. The day before he was going to Maui. Take a listen, and then we'll go jump right into it, and we'll talk about his interesting trip.
They got to Ukraine quicker than they got to their own state.
The first that any of you guys heard from President Biden was after the rest of the mainland knew that the fires were going on, that there was this chaos, this tumult, this tremendous loss of life. What do you say when the President of the United States says no comment and then goes bicycling?
What he's not doing, actually, for the citizens of this country, for the citizens of Maui and Lahaina, it's completely disrespectful. And now he's going to be coming here tomorrow, and all of a sudden it's going to clog up the roads. They're not going to let anybody through. It's going to slow everything down just so he can come in and take a look and do nothing yet again. So it's ridiculous. It's nonsense, and him.
Let me just say straight to you, President Biden, I pray for your soul. Just repent from your posturing and your lack of integrity and your lack of compassion.
When you're the president of the United States of America, you have to know what's going on. You got all these people that surround, supposed to be advising you what's going on. For you to say something like no comment, I don't know. I can't even respond to such comment.
We have the largest Marine base in the world, the largest Navy fleet right there. There. We can see the island.
Right there.
They could have been here in 12 hours.
I think that if he wanted to, the President of the United States or one of his chiefs of staff could have ordered military assistance from Pearl Harbor and the U.S. Pacific Fleet.
There's no question they could have done that. They did it for Ukraine way quicker than the response here in Hawaii.
Dude, one of the biggest naval bases, Marines and everything, are right over there.
Yeah, I asked about why wouldn't the military
Why wouldn't they hit the ground running and help out? Well, who knows why, but this is Joe Biden coming in with his 12-car motorcade into Maui.
Here he comes after 13 days.
Wow, he's finally here! Wow, yeah! Awesome! Yeah, thanks for nothing! Fuck you! 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 Hey, right here! Hey, fuck you, Joe Biden! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Now, I know for business purposes, it's not good to have cursing in the beginning of each segment of the video, but with Joe Biden going to Maui, I couldn't rearrange it any other way to find a way to get away with the FUs and whatnot, because this is how they feel about this dude.
Do you think the Dems will take Hawaii this coming election?
I don't know, maybe. But what do you think about the whole fact that I know a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, that's just normal and stuff like that. That doesn't seem...
What do you mean that's just normal? What's that mean?
That, the president would show up and they'd be going, F you, screw you, screw you in different spots. Like, I think it's accepted today that would happen. But you go back 20 years...
Wait, did Bush, when he showed up in New Orleans, were people giving him the finger as he drove by?
I don't remember. The coverage was different back then. We didn't have the intranet.
But the coverage was like, he stinks. I mean, that was when Kanye West said George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Yeah.
Were they standing on the corner? I mean...
I don't know if they were. I really don't. But this just seems a little bit excessive now. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that nowadays, this is how disastrous our country is. The fact that, Joe Biden shows up somewhere and people are saying go scratch. You know what I'm saying? There used to be what we were kind of programmed or brought up to have some decency for the office, right? For the position.
It's going to get how when George W. was in Iraq and some guy threw his shoe at him, it's going to get to like that.
Yeah.
We're going to become the thing that we made over there.
I mean,
we are that now.
If Biden keeps making speeches like this, I don't know what it is, but every single time he speaks, he feels like he has to himself make himself the victim so people can relate to him. Listen to this.
Great stories.
We played this before,
I don't want to
playing it again.
compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. Years ago, now 15 years ago.
I mean, before you even get started, you're showing up on Maui. There are people, like 1,000 people who haven't been identified have gone missing because they pretty much have just been burnt to an ash. People don't understand. They don't grasp this, Kurt. They think that they're missing, that they ran off somewhere and they're not being found.
A lot of them children, by the way.
Yes,
home while their parents
a
worked.
lot of them children have been burnt to a crisp ash. They can't even be identified. I think they identified 4 people the other day.
1,300 missing. What's the death count? Is it up to 1,300?
It's up to, no, the death count is up to like 115 or something.
There's 1,300 missing. So
exactly.
What do you think? They're alive?
It really is a shame. And I mean, a lot of people are talking about this. The ignorance is adding up to where people are going, wait, they can't be that stupid. And we'll play that in the next clip. Let's listen to Mr. Joe Biden finish up his bullshit speech. I'm gonna rewind it a little bit.
Can you just let it roll?
Years ago, now 15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday. And lightning struck at home.
Oh my God.
On a little lake. It's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond. And hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
Oh.
But all kidding aside,
what?
I watched the firefighters, the way they responded. No, there's an old expression. I grew up right across the street from a fire hall in Claymont, Delaware.
Oh.
And the expression.
Good. That's all I had enough of.
Did you see the faces of the guy? Is anybody interviewing those musicians back there of what they were thinking? Did you see their faces while he's saying this stuff?
I did see their faces, and they were trying to be. And those are like some of your kindest guys, right? They play the little small guitars, and they're really nice. And
ukuleles.
The ukuleles, and they give you your lays, and they're just loving and welcome to Hawaii.
I almost lost my vet. Wow.
Yeah, and my cat and stuff. So every once in a while, I don't know who this dude is. I'm going to play this guy right here. Let's put this guy up. We'll take Kurt down real quick. This is, yeah, okay. So this was a viral TikTok that went it was a crazy TikTok that went viral, excuse me. And you know when somebody says something that really expresses how you feel? Listen to this dude here. This is just brilliant.
It is almost impossible to believe that this guy, that this old man, this Walmart greeter, this fake installed president, why the fuck is his wife with him wherever he goes? We didn't hire this person. I didn't hire you, Joe. You're a traitor. I know what you are. I know what Kamala is. I know what the Democratic Party is. And I know that we have a constitutional crisis of epic proportion. But hearing you talk about your house that, had a little fire, you almost lost your cat and your Corvette. There are children that were incinerated to ash. You fucking old man. You vile human being. The only way you feel you're able to communicate and you have some kind of, you're so out of touch with the common man, you don't even understand how to speak to them. The only way you think you can establish commonality with them is to lie. That the same thing happened to you, no matter what the tragedy is. Your son wasn't killed in action, by the way. Your house didn't burn down. Your children weren't burned to death. How dare you get up there and speak this way? Your job is to go there and assuage them in a way that you talk to them about their loss. That you can't imagine what it's like. That you can't imagine what it's like never to find the bodies of the poor children that were sent home from schools that died alone. Alone. In fear. Without their parent or a guardian. That the most abhorrent thing happened. You're a disgusting, despicable bastard. You're too old. You need to step down from office. Maybe the cackling hyena behind you, maybe she'll rise to the occasion. She can't even form a coherent sentence. This is an outrage. An outrage. We should just rebuild the goddamn thing the way it was. When you hear the psychopath, the first thing out of the governor's mouth was, we're going to reclaim the land for this or for that. Who the fuck are the people we hire in government? And if there's any truth to the matter that this idiot held back the water, he should be sent down to Guantanamo Bay. Never to be seen again. It's just outrageous how we behave in this country. There's no adults. An event, no matter how tragic, there should be men that are able to rise to the occasion. In 5 seconds, you should know what to do. You should understand the right thing. You almost lost your cat. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Did he put a bow on that, Kurt?
I forgot. He's saying he didn't lose He almost
this
close losing his cat and his Corvette.
Yeah.
Also, I remember watching the firemen. Did they have water in their trucks, Joe?
Nope. I would expect maybe a story on Friday coming about that one. I'm going to dive a little deeper into the water because from what I understand, it wasn't just about the equity. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of those people
I don't think it's about equity. I think so they turn their water on.
Yeah, but I mean, when we talk about water, I'm one of those guys who believe that no private corporation should ever own water. I don't believe they should ever be able to control it.
Is it privatized?
Well, I'm just saying across the board. So when you're talking about water and equity, you're talking about certain people can't take a hold of it, can't buy it. Nestle can't control a lot of water. I'm one of those guys who I don't believe that corporations should ever be able to buy water and hold on to what we need more than anything. So but it's a different situation from what went on. From what I understand, there are reports that during these times of this fire that the dude that was talking about the equity in water in Hawaii withheld water for like 5 hours at one point, and that's why there was a problem. That's why he was saying, I want to confirm everything, I'm going to look into it, but that's what that guy said. If there's any truth to what's going on, he should be sent to Guantanamo Bay. So we'll get into that.
I heard nothing but that.
Well, from what? You know, I mean,
we showed the guy talking about it.
Well, he talked about last year about that speech with equity of water was last year when he was talking about.
No, I know, I mentioned it.
I want to make sure and see for sure if he withheld water during this whole time, because if it is true, he should be sent to Guantanamo Bay.
Biden is sleeping.
Okay, real quick. By the way, this is after. Look at watch. Watch him just shake his head. Yes.
We are a community that relies on family, on ohana, whether by blood or by friendship. But like many others, my son's home burned down. My daughter's home burned down. My home burned down. My parents, 59 years home.
Was he asleep, Kurt?
Let's say he wasn't, and that's how he looks when he's not asleep. That's also not good.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty bad if you were listening intently face. Looks like you're out cold, I would say.
I don't know why so many people are hating on him there. That was the one time I thought he really showcased a talent he has, that while he's sleeping, he has enough conscience of what's going on to go, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's like he heard something subconsciously. That is Joe Biden's best talent.
Please, you gotta save my cat.
Yeah. His worst talent, his worst trait is that he always does this crap in this video over here, where he has to think that he has to compare himself by making himself a victim to relate to you.
The man marched with Mandela. Calm down.
America's deadliest wildfire in over a century. And Jill and I have what's left, walked Front Street, what's left of it. We've surveyed the damage from the air as well. The devastation is overwhelming. To date, 114 dead, hundreds of people unaccounted for. I remember when I got the call, my first wife and daughter. I was a young senator, and I got a call in Washington. I hadn't been sworn in yet. I wasn't old enough. And I was hiring staff in the Capitol at Teddy Kennedy's office. And I got a phone call saying from my fire department, and a young first responder kind of panicked, "You got to come home. There's been an accident." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Your wife, she's dead. Come home, come home." The tractor trailer had broadsided her and killed her in a car accident along with my little daughter. And I remember all the way down from Washington home, wondering what a lot of people here are wondering. What about my two boys? How are they? They were in the car. I never got a read on that. Were they going to be all right? They were badly injured. Were they going to make it? Had they made it? Wasn't until I walked into the emergency room that I saw that they were there. The difference between knowing somebody's gone and worrying whether they're available to come back are two different things. You know, and I remember one of the people who helped me.
Okay, a quick question, which Misha was mentioning frantically and is right. His little daughter, his son Bo, or who died in the car accident? Or was Bo brain cancer?
I know it was his ex-wife. I didn't know if there was his daughter too as well.
He lost a daughter in the car accident?
But listen, that's like a totally different situation so many years ago.
No, he knows how to
Why does he
feel.
have to bring that shit into everything?
Let's say this. Both of those times where he's talking about the fire where he almost lost his car and his cat, but thank God they were saved. let's say at the end of that he goes, so I know how you feel, and that's why we're going to build them back better, all your houses, and give them right back to you because Joe Biden, I'm running for president, so obviously that's the kind of thing I would do in a state that votes 2-1 Democrat. I wouldn't just tell you a story that doesn't relate and then leave, I guess. Anyway, sucks to be you. I'm out.
All right. Back on vacation. Our good friend Terrible, my good friend, she follows me. Terrible, like that. Terrible.
I get it.
Terrible.
What am I, Joe Biden? I get the pun.
Okay. I'm sorry over here. It says Maui welcomes Biden in hopes of getting federal aid. And there it is. You got the Ukraine flag up there. See?
I don't even think a Ukraine flag is going to bring aid.
They're going to bring aid.
You get $700.
Federal aid to Maui.
$700 and a phone call from the Oprah Network. Not to be on to buy a home.
Let's go over to Misha for some super chats right away. I don't think Joe Biden's trip to Maui was a success. We'll leave it at that.
I want to see video of people excusing this more than the sleeping. There's got to be, right?
Hey, come see us on Live on Tour. We're doing a show in New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Connecticut, Toledo, Rochester, Michigan. That's just outside of Detroit. St. Louis, Tampa, Florida, Boca Raton, Florida, and Orlando, Florida. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.